Harriet Thompson grew up on a dairy farm in Letart, owned by her parents, Albert and Hollis Thompson. Letart is about 20 miles north of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. She would run away to the south with her high school sweetheart, Bruce Sisk, to get married while attending Wahama High School. During their junior year, the pair would drop out. When the young couple returned to West Virginia, Albert Thompson hired Bruce, who was 19, as a dairy laborer. On the Thompson farm, the pair set up housekeeping in a trailer. Michael would be their firstborn child, and they would bring a daughter into their family about 16 months later. Davi Colleen was born on Christmas Eve, 1975, in Pleasant Valley Hospital in Point Pleasant. Albert Thompson, Davi's grandfather, would report her missing to authorities on Saturday, February 28, 1976. The parents would tell the police that they feared she had been kidnapped. But 5 hours later, they would discover the baby's body wrapped in blankets in a 4-foot makeshift grave with a stuffed toy near her. On Monday, March 1st, 1976, Harriet was arrested. During the arrest, social workers took 18-month-old Michael. Harriet later admitted that she'd stumbled and fallen onto Davi after her sock got snagged on a piece of furniture. The 2-month-old baby began crying and refused to stop. The incessant wailing caused Harriet to snap. The autopsy would reveal that Davi had been strangled and beaten. Harriet's last statement to police revealed that her husband Bruce, age 19, helped her bury their daughter's body. Afterward, it was determined the child suffered from ongoing abuse. Harriet was taken to the Mason County Jail to await trial. On Tuesday, March 2nd, at about 10:50 p.m., her husband entered the jailhouse with a sawed-off shotgun to force his way into the jail and carrying a suitcase. He told jail dispatcher Charles Anson that he wanted to spend the night with his wife. He pressed the shotgun against the unarmed Anson, a former postal worker who took this job 14 months earlier to relieve the boredom of retirement. He recognized Bruce immediately. He had been at the jail to see his wife only 5 hours earlier. Anson, now with the shotgun at his back, took Bruce to the cell where Harriet was being held. He opened the cell door and allowed Bruce to enter, but quickly slammed and locked the door. Trapped inside was Harriet, another female prisoner, and now Bruce with his suitcase and shotgun. Anson ran back upstairs to radio for help. He called Sheriff Wedge, who told him not to let anyone go downstairs until he arrived. Sheriff Elvin Wedge arrived at the jail a few minutes later with several other area law enforcement officers, including Kenneth Love, who had been the one to find Davi's body just a few days earlier. According to Alice Meeson, who was also in the cell with Harriet and now Bruce, the couple had gone over in a corner and talked among themselves. She stated she could not hear what they were saying, but did hear Harriet ask him to let Alice leave the cell. Bruce called a deputy over and had him release the woman, and she left the cell, not knowing of their plan. Around 11:20 p.m., an explosion rocked the 3-story stone courthouse of this sleepy Ohio River town as the sheriff and the other cops tried to figure out how to get Bruce out of his cell. The luggage that Bruce was carrying did not contain a change of clothes, but rather roughly 36 of dynamite. The explosion scattered debris across the courthouse yard and caused a break in the structure's foundation. The power of the explosion had bowed the cell block wall. It ripped a hole in the building's side and shattered windows on every level and in neighboring buildings. It tore through the steel doors like they were paper. The explosion tore out a section of the second floor, causing some of the prisoners to fall from their cells into the basement. Some of the dead and injured were buried beneath debris in the basement of the jail. Originally, it was thought that Bruce had used his shotgun to shoot the suitcase in which he had carried an estimated 15 pounds of dynamite, but it was later determined that he had used an electric blasting cap ignited by a flashlight battery. His actions created an explosion that took his and his wife's life immediately, as well as the life of the local sheriff. Authorities would later find a suicide note in the couple's trailer in which a suicide pact was laid out. This note was shown to the members of their families, but not released to the press. They did say that in the letter Bruce had called the police pigs and other more obscene names. The shotgun would be tied back to a mid-February Mason County burglary, and the dynamite had been stolen from a construction company where Bruce was once employed. Ultimately, 5 people, including the Sisk, died as a result of the explosion. 11 others were injured, including Alice. The Sisk and Deputy Kenneth Love died instantly. Sheriff Wedge died the following day, and jailer Ernie Hessen would linger for a week before succumbing to his injuries. Point Pleasant has seen more than its fair share of tragedies over the years. Some believe it started with the Cornstalk Massacre. What do you think?